Alright, what's going on, guys? Troy back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be talking about what I prefer. So Marvel versus DC in my opinion. So how I see them and which company I like better. This is something that I think pretty much everybody who's really into comic books or even superhero movies and this kind of stuff at one time or another kind of has to decide is which company do they like better and which one do they kind of appreciate more. Now I'll say that I like them both very much. Both companies to me are fantastic. I love reading several different titles from each of them. In DC Comics, of course, we have Justice League, which is big right now. Green Lantern with the storylines that it's had in the past couple years, Blackest Night. And I mean, everything Jeff Johns has done on Green Lantern has been amazing in my opinion. Batman, all the different Batman titles are always awesome. You know, you can never beat the different Batman titles. Not so much Superman because I find that his storyline, I just think Superman's not done properly. They need to change that character, or at least the way they do that character. And pretty much from DC, I think that's probably about it, about all I read in terms of comic books. In terms of Marvel comic books, I go for, let's say, Avengers, main Avengers. X-Men I like a lot. I read almost all the X-Men stuff. I read all the main events from both Marvel and DC I like. I thought that Siege was awesome. Blackest Night was great. Secret Invasion's really good. I mean, there's a lot of really good events that they've had in the past few years. With Marvel, what else do I read? Yeah, those, and sometimes I'll pick up Wolverine. Captain America, I pick up Captain America sometimes. And then that's pretty much it for Marvel and DC comic books. In terms of movies and stuff, you guys know if you've been watching my channel for a little while, I think that the Christopher Nolan Batman movies are the best comic book movies ever made. And obviously Dark Knight Rises is not out yet, but the first two I think are. And so just those two alone, I'd have to go with DC over Marvel when it comes to the movies. And everything Marvel's done, I still think those two, I'd rather have those two movies exist versus all of the Marvel stuff. If I had to choose between just those two movies or three and everything Marvel's ever done in movies, I'd pick those two. I also like the X-Men movies quite a bit. I think that X-Men 3 had a lot of problems and I didn't like it as much. But X2 and X1 I thought were really good. X2 especially because you got to see some awesome Wolverine stuff. Wolverine movie, X-Men Origins, thought was, you know, pretty good. A lot of people hate it because the storyline is very linear and it's, I don't know, it's not the best, but I like Wolverine a lot. I like the character, so I enjoy that. But yeah, in terms of movies, DC's got to win hands down. In terms of other things, like let's say video games and stuff like that, I don't really play a lot of video games based on either or. I know that Batman, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum were really well received. Marvel games, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, I think was the last game I played for Marvel. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, probably. But I don't play too many video games anymore, so that category to me doesn't really matter. So when it comes to movies, I got to go with DC. When it comes to comic books and figures and stuff, I was always for Marvel almost my whole life, just growing up and everything. But within the past probably 5 to 7 years, I feel like I've kind of gone more over to DC. Okay, well, I'll say this. I'm a huge fan of the X-Men. I think the X-Men are the best superhero team there is. After that, I like the Justice League more than the Avengers generally. The Avengers I do like quite a bit, but there's only some storylines with them that I think are interesting. A lot of times I think Avengers stories feels like they're just very forced, like all the characters are forced to be together. When they throw in like new Avengers, they put Wolverine and Spider-Man and stuff. It just feels like they're forced just to sell comics and stuff, you know, because they don't really belong there. They're just thrown together just to make it, you know, all, you know, exciting for buyers and that kind of stuff. So, you know, Marvel has a lot more characters, I think, that are more well fleshed out than DC does. Marvel, of course, the X-Men alone have tons of characters, like tons of characters. The Avengers as well, tons of different characters in there. And so I think Marvel has more characters that are decent, but I think DC has a few really, really great characters, and I think that Batman is the greatest superhero, in my opinion. The Joker, probably the best villain in all of comic books in either or. So it's kind of hard for me to decide between the two because I think what DC has with Batman is the best there is. But then on the other hand, Marvel just seems to have more decent stuff, and a lot more, in my opinion. But I do really like shows like, for example, Justice League. I thought was really well done, the cartoon show. And, I can even still watch that cartoon show now. 5 seasons, or was it 4 seasons? But really, really good show. And I don't think Marvel has come close with any of the stuff they've done to touching that. Their X-Men the Animated Series was good, though, but not nearly as good as Justice League. So when it comes down to it, it really is a question of, Batman really versus Marvel, and Marvel just has so many great characters that are well fleshed out. I think I in this category, I have to go with Marvel. So overall, between Marvel and DC, I got to go with Marvel just because of the X-Men. Really, if it wasn't for the X-Men, I would go with DC. But because of the X-Men, because of the amount of great characters they have, being more, I think, than DC, I'd have to go with Marvel. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys prefer, Marvel or DC, and why. Feel free to do a video response if you like, or write in the comments. Later, guys. Peace.